As you might know, I've been trying to expand my literary taste, going outside of what I usually read, and I think I've not read much contemporary literary fiction, and I think I've seen a surge of contemporary fiction and especially literary fiction recently. I don't know if it's just me and my social media, but I've seen a lot of great and exciting reads in contemporary literary fiction, so I'm really interested to try it out for myself. I don't think I've read much of that genre, and I do think with some of the new releases we're gonna get more and more, and I think it's going to be one of the next big genres that people reach for. Contemporary fiction is of course fiction that is set in present or recent past, dealing with a lot of current issues, and literary fiction focuses on the emotional depth and thematic depth, and obviously focusing on the character using a lot of artistic prose, artistic writing. So combining those two, we obviously have a very artistic work exploring modern themes and current issues with a very emotional driven and character driven story, and definitely focusing on the internal lives of our characters. So I will be starting this video with Blessings, and this is a gay coming of age story set in Nigeria. I think this is supposed to be a little bit sad, but I don't really know much more than that, so let's just get into it. I have to say, I don't think I've read many contemporary fiction books. I don't know what really classifies as that. I think intermezzo, not sure. So I've also read Blue Sisters. So I guess I'll see. In part one, we find out the brief history and the circumstances of our main character, Obifuna. We start off with the day that a new apprentice for the family arrives and the new feelings Obifuna feels regarding that. We also get a history of his birth and how his mother has suffered multiple miscarriages before she had him, and he became beloved son. He was a protege. Everyone loved him when he was little, but as he grew up, everyone kind of regarded him as an unconventional boy. He started getting bullied, he started getting hit, and his peers just didn't want to hang out with him, and he was very quiet and reserved. His mother started worrying for him. At one point, his dad started shouting at him because of how well he performed at a party. He started dancing and he was just so good, and then he won multiple dance awards, and when they got back home, his father slapped him. And his mother obviously stepped in right away and said, "You're not going to do that to my son because what the heck?" And then we fast forward again to when Obifuna and the new apprentice get a little bit closer. When his father witnesses the intimate moment he shares with the new apprentice, he sends him out to a Christian boarding school. The new school is definitely something. It's very strict, full of people that just want to get high on power, because it's also run in that system that the older boys have more power and they can perform the punishments for misbehaving, as well as just observing and monitoring that everything and everyone is acting correctly. And I am already feeling so sad for our main character, and I want to hug him, and I hope he gets to dance more, because I feel like dance was a big part of his life, and As Obifuna tries to adapt to his new life at the boarding school, he has to learn all of the new rules and hierarchies that are at play. Obviously, the older students have more power than the younger students, and somehow Obifuna gets in the good graces of one of the seniors at the school. He has to serve him and help him with his chores in exchange for protection and some small luxuries like better food, better room, and better breaks. He kind of has to forget his old life and let go of it to assimilate to his new position at the school. Every couple of chapters, we also get a chapter from Obifuna's mom, and we get her story of loneliness. She starts really missing her son. She doesn't truly know why he was sent to the boarding school because dad didn't really discuss the decision with her, so she is quite lost as to what has happened. Soon after Obifuna went away, we also find out that the apprentice also got let go of, and there was a story that was made up as to why he was fired. Her story focuses on her loyalty to her child. We see so many different variations of motherhood and parenthood, but also wifehood. I didn't really expect to have this perspective of the mother, which I think brings this story to another level. I think it gives it something more than just a coming of age story. We also get the eye of the mother. This book spans from 2008 to 2014, with the last chapters leading up to the Same-Sex Marriage and Relationship Prohibition Act in Nigeria. And although, of course, this story focuses on our main character growing up, being queer, it also surprised me by how much it featured the unbreakable connection between mother and child. It showcased how much a mother is willing to do for a child, but also how much she's able to conceal from them to protect them. This is a story of acceptance and freedom, navigating queerness in the face of oppression and alienation from both your family and larger society. It really showcases how much politics and religion can influence your development and especially discovering oneself. Progress and growing up is at the forefront of this story, and the difficulties of discovering yourself when you don't feel safe and you have to hide who you are at every turn. The last part of the book really drove the point home when we experienced the devastation the criminalization of same-sex relationships brought, its physical results, but also the psychological trauma it spread. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and I have to say, I was left gutted. I obviously cried so much at the end. Yeah. For my next book, I'm going to be reading The Wilderness, which I really wanted to get on a physical copy, but the only editions available are hardbacks, and I don't really like reading on a hardback, so I have to settle for a Kindle. I'm really excited because it's spanning 20 years. I'm excited to see how that will be done, so let's just get started. I thought the structure of this book would be much different, and I thought it would be much quicker of a turnout. The chapters are very long, they're each 40 minutes so far. I actually really like it because each chapter has very intricate details about the main character's life. I don't know if we're going to be following each character in each chapter, but we have so far had a chapter from Desiree and from January, but we also know that the friendship group that we're supposed to be following is also made up of Monique and Nakia. Each chapter seems to be following one day of a person's life, but I do think Desiree is supposed to be the main character of the novel. It's kind of centering her, but we do flow very freely throughout the chapter. We have thoughts that stray back to memories of childhood or memories of a previous event that we either know something about or know nothing about. And we slowly find out how the group started to form, how the friends started to work, and how the group works as friends. There are different dynamics that each person, I think, feels differently about. The first chapter did only involve Desiree and kind of jump-started this whole story, and it was about how Desiree was on her way to Zurich to help her grandfather with assisted suicide and how that event impacted her life. And in the second chapter, we followed January. It was 10 years later. We already had the friendship group established. We had a lot of self-reflection, a lot about the group and each person in the group from January's perspective. They became friends about 10 years ago when Desiree moved from LA to New York, and around the same time January also moved to New York. I think the thing about literary fiction is that it's very easy to lose yourself in another person's life, and I think because it's contemporary, focuses on current topics and current issues, because of that it's very relatable. So I am finding myself relating to both of these characters on different levels. It's just been amazing to experience it because it really feels so intimate. Their lives feel so dear to me now. It's actually the last day of a coffee cleanse I'm doing. I decided to do like a 2-week no coffee or no caffeinated coffee cleanse. I was just having way too much coffee. Like every day I was really anticipating having a coffee. So in these 2 weeks I've had a little break. I was having a lot of tea and a little bit of matcha. I'm feeling fine. I really miss the taste of coffee. So I'm excited to get back into it tomorrow. But for today, it's just tea. I've been thoroughly enjoying this. I feel like it's allowed me to connect with my inner thoughts and feelings. I think it's just very introspective, and I'm finding a lot of relatable feelings in these people. It's nice to reflect on what I'm feeling inside. It's just been a nice journey, I think. I have like 3 hours left on the book. I'm like 70% done with it. There was a lot I liked about this book. I think because I could relate to almost every character and I could feel their emotions so deeply. I think we got all their in-depth thoughts and feelings, and I think that's what really made this book. We had so many different perspectives going through various stages of life and various emotions. We had grief, depression, betrayal, revenge, all portrayed via diverse viewpoints. I think it allowed me to connect with each character differently, getting their story and understanding what drove them and what they thought of this world and just their whole personalities. I myself generally like jumping through timelines, so I did enjoy that aspect of the book, but definitely more in the first couple of chapters, because we did change the style of the timelines and jumping through the timelines, because like I said before, at the beginning it was just 1 day per year, and it was a very long chapter containing vivid details dissecting the main characters' feelings and thoughts throughout that day, so we could get a glimpse of them at that certain stage of their life. But as the book goes on, that style of writing changes and it goes into multiple days, even months per year. So not only are we jumping through each year, through each chapter, we're also jumping through multiple days or months or weeks within the chapter. I do think it was done well in some chapters, especially Desiree's chapters, because I think we knew her so well. She has the spotlight in this book, but when it was regarding other characters, I think it felt a little bit flat. It got a little bit jumbled at points because we were just discussing so many things within one chapter and just jumping through the time. This book handles a couple of very serious topics like homelessness and class divide, but because we had so much going on with so many different characters going through so many different years, it got a little bit lost. I do think that this book kind of lost what it was trying to say. I don't know if the point was to get into the homelessness and class divide problem, but we only dedicated a couple of chapters towards it throughout this whole book, and unfortunately it just didn't have the impact I think the author intended. It just couldn't get fully realized, which is quite a shame because it would have been a great conversation. And with so much happening in this book, I feel like we didn't really get to see much of certain characters. I feel like we didn't get to know them enough, and I don't think they developed throughout this book, those characters being January and Monique. I feel like we barely scratched the surface of their characters. And for a book about friendship, this book didn't really have much friends going on. We only had a couple of times that these girls were all together all at once. I feel like we didn't dive enough into that topic and that area, and that's why this book is 3 stars for me. I did really enjoy the writing style of this, so in general, I feel like contemporary fiction and contemporary literary fiction is a great genre for exploring the human experience. Like I said before, I think because it's happening in our timeline, not somewhere in the future or in the past, really far behind, it's easy to connect and relate to the emotions that the characters are going through, which is why I think this genre has so much potential, and that's why I think I've noticed a rise in people reaching for literary fiction, and especially contemporary literary fiction. I think it just can explore so much when done well. It can help you deal with your own emotions, which is an amazing thing. And I will definitely be reaching for more contemporary literary fiction in the future. I have so many books on my TBR, so I can't wait to get into them. But this will be all for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!